Boss tell me, just a singer in a rock and roll band. Down, 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 down. Down, 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 down. Do, 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 do. Apologies if you guys are joining the stream. I am still setting up. I don't think anyone's here yet, but for those watching it later, I'm still working on setting it up. Excuse me, I am still someone also working off a cold. Yeah. Other than that, chillin'. Bing chillin'. Oh, there's a leaderboard now? Oh, hey, look at that. That's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. Apparently, there's a leaderboard for chat for people who like support the stream or just message, put a little emoticons in there. You get all XP things. That's kind of cool. That's a new system. I don't think I've seen that last time I streamed. Hello, everybody, and welcome. What's up, Color? Welcome to Zad, everyone else. Teshlu, Farmer, we're Sean, specific game, Freddy SD, /1000 XP. And Color, how are you already in first place? How do I even see the leaderboard? Anyways, I don't know. That's kind of neat. I guess you get XP for messages. I like that. Anyways, what we are doing today is continuing the progress that I have started. Wait, did you actually give yourself a ton of XP? No, okay. I just want to make sure. I don't know. Never seen it work, but you're in first place now. Anywho, what we started today, or what we're going to be working on today, is continuing what I've already started. Not just in the previous video, but I've worked on this since. Which is to say, we are going to be making mutant mobs. That's going to be kind of the focus for today. What do I mean by that? Well, in the last big video that I posted on my channel, we made this nuke. Obviously, we have it right here, and it is a pig named Nuke who coats this entire area in radiation. So this radiation is now, number one, it's going to affect players, but I have some radiation-proof armor on, so it's not really hurting me all that much. But we are going to have some custom mobs that are going to be using some custom animations. What's up, dog? Hey, I ran around, but I need this door shut so I can have the AC on, buddy. Um, yeah, so we have some custom mobs that we're going to be kind of remaking into a radioactive form. So I've already done a couple of them. You guys can see this husk right here. Let me summon him up here so you guys get a little better view of him. So basically, anytime that a mob is in the radiation zone, they're gonna. Why'd you move out of the way? Whatever, I'm gonna put them up here. Anytime a mob is in the radiation zone, they're going to slowly radiate over time. Please don't fall down into the hole that I explicitly put you up here so as to not do. So, husks, for example, turn into giant, lumbering, crawling versions of themselves, just as one example. And they're going to be just a little bit stronger, a little bit faster than a normal husk would be. The creeper is the one that I'm working on right now. I think in terms, it's going to have two effects. Number one, it's going to become a charged creeper through radiation. This is just mob attributes. So some of it is based on some of the stuff. Actually, God Man made on the Discord gave me some of these animations, but not all of it is from him, especially the effects. Some of the animations are, but not the effects. So I don't have the effects done for this. I want to make him a charge creeper when he irradiates. But one of the other things that he does is he is irradiated now. I just don't have the visual set up for it. But he will slowly terraform. You guys can see that this kind of area has been somewhat terraformed with a couple of different corruptions. So different mobs can actually kind of terraform the area around them. You see these green particles kind of around the creeper. Essentially, randomly, it's going to, around the creeper, it's going to change blocks. So dirt can turn into, like, or, you know, coarse dirt. Dirt turns into moss. We occasionally have these nether sprouts popping up from the creeper. Cobblestone can turn into mossy cobblestone. All different kinds of things. So the creeper kind of like terraforms the area to make it a little bit, you know, more green, I would say. The cow is going to have is actually going to have two different stages. Will I turn into a gas if mutated? You know, Color, most people don't actually even remember when I primarily used the gas skin. So the cow's going to turn into a mushroom. Further on down the line, the mushroom is going to turn into an irradiated mushroom. So the irradiated mushroom is going to actually terraform the area around it, and you can kind of see, so here's the particles that go live. But once the irradiated mushroom is around, he's going to be changing like dirt into mycelium. Different types of plants are going to get turned into, mushrooms. So he's actually going to transform the world around him into a mushroom biome, essentially. So that's one of the different abilities that we're going to have. So additionally, we're going to have the skeleton, which is burning. So let me put him out. Let me just put him under a block or something like that. So the skeleton, and I'm still working on the visuals for some of these things. The skeleton, when he becomes irradiated, if I'm remembering correctly, he becomes a little bit bigger. And you can kind of see he actually transforms the world around him into like a pale garden. So he places some of the pale moss, some of this dead brain coral he's going to help place in. But yeah, and he will actually transform like trees into pale oak trees. Yeah, see, he's a little bit taller than a normal skeleton is by comparison. See, he just transformed that area right here. Taller than a normal skeleton. Additionally, if you get close to him, he actually swaps to a knockback sword instead of a bow. So if you get really close, he's going to switch to melee range, and then once you get further, he's going to switch back to an enchanted bow. But like I said, he also is going to be terraforming the area around him. Like I said, if there were a tree nearby, you would actually see him turn the oak tree into like a pale tree. So he actually spreads the pale biome. And other than that, I think the only other mob that I've done is the Enderman. Unless I'm forgetting one. I don't think I am. So the Enderman, now not every mob is meant to terraform the world around it. Only certain mobs are. So the Enderman is an example that doesn't. And I have this command set up here just to teleport the Enderman in case he teleports away, because they do that. So we can wait, let him irradiate. So this is the irradiated form of the Enderman. Now I actually focused on his look first, so he still needs to have some effects. But I think what he's going to do is basically when the Enderman is attacking you, he's actually going to blind you in the process of attacking you. On top of he is a little bit stronger and more resistant, so he does more damage and takes less damage than a normal Enderman does. On top of, being a little bit decent bit bigger than the normal Enderman is. And also kind of like crawling forward on his front legs. So that's where I'm at right now. Feel free to give some feedback on what you've seen so far. But the goal is essentially to have any overworld mob have a mutant form. But that's the skeleton. So the creeper I'm not going to do an animation for. What I'm simply going to do is, what was it? Fence, entity, eddy, type equals creeper. Charged, right? We become charged, yeah. So execute, no. Vent entity at E. Type equals creeper, tag equals rad. So what other mobs should we irradiate, and what should their special mutant forms look like, and what should they do? So that's why I want you guys to be on and give me some ideas. So that should have been for the creeper. He should become charged when he's irradiated. Let's see here. Come on, buddy. Come on. There we go. Now he's irradiated, which also means he's going to be basically slowly kind of terraforming the blocks nearby. So, yeah. That's, like I said, that's more or less where I'm at right now. If you guys have any suggestions what I should add, feel free to leave them for me. Other than that, I'm just going to kind of keep chugging through and working on some of them. But yeah, what do you guys think? Give me some feedback. Give me some suggestions, whatever. I'll invite Jolly just for fun, see what he does. Oh, sorry, I gotta ping on Discord. I don't know if it's related or not. Oh, that's not related. All good. So, trying to think, what mob also should I do next? Some of the mobs are gonna have a little bit more simple radiation. For instance, the pig. Pig is going to turn into a hoglin, which is going to turn into a zoglin. You're a little bit late, but not all that late, so I wouldn't worry about it. And one of the concepts that I'm going with is that the nether mobs are all actually radioactive already, and they don't transform because they're basically immune to radiation. So some of the overworld mobs become irradiated as they turn into nether mobs, but the nether mobs just function like they normally would, if that makes sense. Alright, so rad mushroom. Nope. Pig. Summon a hoglin. Alright, should be all I need for that. Make the creeper sneak to the player with flickering invisibility. That's not a bad idea. Maybe make the horse into the zombie or the skeleton horse. Yeah, I like that. And I can even... Clyde, hey, buddy. Hey, Clyde, leave it. Clyde! You leave it, buddy. Good boy. Oh, whoops. Did not consider that. I did, I just forgot. Yeah, the name has to not be nuke, or else the actual nuke itself is going to become irradiated. So we don't want that to happen. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to summon in a new nuke into this area. Which is, if you can't tell, has already been very heavily nuked. What's up, Eli the goat? Eli the goat. Yeah, of course. We talked about that. Yeah, Godman said that I'm welcome to use it, and I'm going to credit him when I make the video for the animations. Not all the animations are from him. Some of these animations I actually worked up myself. But yeah, of course I'm going to credit him on the actual video when I make it. Trust me, I've had my command work stolen before. It's a very frustrating experience. I'm not going to. I understand what it's like to have your command stolen. I'm not going to do that to someone else. Don't worry. So yeah, these guys will turn into hoglins, and then after a period of time, because hoglins will always do this in the overworld, they're going to turn into zoglins after a little bit. So nothing too complicated with the pigs. I don't think anything needs to be all that complicated for the pigs. Yeah. Alright, what else did we say? Somebody said something interesting. Make the horse into a zombie horse. Yep, I like that. Let's do that one, because that's a pretty quick one to do as well. Did Fantasy not give credit to somebody? As Fantasy joins the thing. I would imagine though, I know Fantasy. I would imagine if that happened, that it was not on purpose. But yeah, no, I will of course give God's unit credit. Um, and I did ask him. I said, "Hey, would you be okay with me using it?" And he gave me some of the animations on purpose because I was like, "Hey, these are really good, and I think this would work really well for the video I'm working on." And he was more than happy to give me some of the animations that I need, and was alright with me using it. And obviously, yeah, I will credit him. And I am glad that you're concerned about that because that is a real concern. Like I said, I've had my command blocks ripped off before. It's not a fun feeling. I was scrolling through Instagram the other day and I actually saw somebody recreated my slot machine. No, you're good, Fantasy. I'm just streaming. Somebody had recreated my slot machine. They did it poorly. They didn't even figure out how to like rotate the button around. It was very clearly my slot machine because they literally used all of the same like items that I used for my slot machine, the same button that I used for my slot machine, which if you don't know enough about commands to change it, you would literally keep that the same anyways. So that was really funny. What's up, Fantasy? So they didn't even like do it all that well because they literally had the button like off to the right side because they couldn't figure out how to rotate it. So it was, like I said, it was exactly the same items that I used. So it was very clearly my slot machine design. There was no credit, and I literally just scrolling through Instagram Reels and found it. So that was a slightly frustrating thing. I've probably the worst example was if you guys remember a while ago, I made a grappling hook out of a fishing rod. It was very meant to be a very simple set of command blocks, and that was stolen. And like uh, that was put on his channel. Did not credit me. I tried to ask him about it, and he got it. I said, "Hey, like, hey, this is clearly my command blocks that you stole. Like, you literally used the same tags that I did, and you excluded light blocks, which you would only do if you worked in a world with light blocks, which he wasn't." And he did not want to do. He didn't want to do it was right. So that's the end of the story. Nothing I can do about it. So trust me, I get it. Anyways, what mob should we do next? What should we do for the spider? I feel like the cave spider and the spider should be pretty simple. Um, so for the spider, one of the things I thought we could do is we could actually make the spider shoot out webs, maybe. So maybe the irradiated spider like shoots little web projectiles whenever they lands, or like hit a player or something, and like actually summons in a cobweb. Use something like that. That might be fun. Additionally, I had an idea. So, um, currently making a Ninja game with different classes and whatnot. Is it okay for me to use some of your commands like smoke bomb? Yeah, of course. I show the commands so that people can use them. That's one of the things. Like if you use my commands for a server or something like that, I'd appreciate if you cite me, but I'm not as concerned about that if you're making a realm or a world or something like that. Uh, the only thing that I really care about when people take my commands is when they like make videos or stuff about them and then don't credit me. That's the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of, but nothing I can really do about that. But yeah, if you're making it for realm servers, absolutely go ahead. Feel free to credit me if you want. You don't have to. I'm not as concerned about that. Okay, so for the spiders, I do want to make them shoot things at people. What is this? Pig. And then this is horse. I do want them to shoot people at sorry. Want to make them shoot things at people, little spider projectiles, and then maybe for the animation, I'll just see if I can make them a little bit bigger. Gubby Duck plus brown coats. Brown coat did actually recently reach out to me about doing a collab at some point, so we might end up doing that. Not sure. I'm also not 100% sure if this animation is going to work on the spider. We're gonna have to see here. Just gonna make it pretty low just to make sure that this animation works. Please don't fall off. Uh, Order block. Just gonna do this. Alright, show that. Yeah, it's annoying. It's one of those things where at the end of the day, I can't necessarily do anything about it. So, what's up, Hogo Yoki or whatever? Can't say your name right. Sorry, my apologies. This is not on. Alright, does this actually make the spider bigger? No, it does not appear to. So, okay. So the problem is to what? Yeah, kind of does. Makes his head bigger. Does it make anything else bigger? N no, but I can work with that. Um, been a fan for a while. Thank you. Appreciate a straight star. I'm doing all right. Um, doing all right. Yeah. All right, let's just try. We're just gonna give him big heads, I think, and that's gonna be the indicator because uh, animations are not my strong suit. And if I can think of a better animation later, I might. But I think the big head is kind of funny. So the spider and the cave spider, they're probably gonna be about the same. Well, no, that is a lot bigger, isn't it? Like the whole thing is bigger, is it not? Interesting. The back legs look like they're different than the front legs. That's really funny, actually. All right, we'll keep it. I kind of like how it looks. You can at least tell. You can at least tell it's different. And that's kind of the main thing is I want to make sure you're able to tell that they're different. Um, so what the spider's gonna do is if players within a decent distance, that way if like a spider's lingering, one of the things that I really want to do with this radiation set of mobs is I want the world to feel like it's a radioactive wasteland, like it's kind of almost Fallout-esque. So I want the mobs to terraform the worlds around them. So a lot of them, as you can see, already kind of like replace blocks in a lot of ways. And I want to keep that alive. Like obviously you can see the skeletons grade this area out, the mushrooms grade that area out. So I want to make the world feel like it's an actual radiation lands. So I want the mobs to be able to terraform the world around them. So the spiders, we're gonna try to, do the same. But obviously the spider is going to be to a lesser extreme. Let's see. In my totally normal Minecraft world, I make creepers explode whenever they feel like it. Creeper explosion controlled by vents. We could do that. But I think the way creepers are right now is a little bit better because now they're going to act actually like transform the world around them. Whereas if they're just going to blow it up randomly after a certain amount of time, they actually have less effect on how the world looks terraformed around them. If that makes sense. Summon web. Alright, so execute as at A, as at E, R equals 30. Oops. Equals 30. Tag equals rad. type equals spider. S at S. Run, summon, armor, stand, none web. Then put that on a 40 tick delay. Alright, it's working. Just gonna disable that for right now. Be crazy to remember all that in your head. It'd be like that sometimes. You get enough experience at it, and you just kind of get used to it. Particles. Let me bring up was it the Enrod particle? Was that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, we'll go with the Enrod particle. It's probably gonna be the best. No, wait. We have the new particle. What's it called? Isn't there a specific particle for the infested? Isn't that what it's called? Hold on, I gotta bring up Game Over Gaming real quick. Trial particles. Ignore me as I just bring up another YouTuber's thing. Oh wait, there's the weaving emitter. That might be what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's what I want it to be. There's also the weaving ambient. Let's see what that one looks like. They're like the same. Alright, cool. Yeah, the armor projectiles, they're pretty simple. That's all I'm doing right now. Making fireballs for my survival game, and I was wondering how to position the fireball correctly because the Y rod only works if you look straight forward. Use boats, straight star. I would look at my updated gun tutorial as a good example of that, on why you should use boats as your projectile. And you can, if you want, you can just copy some of the stuff that I did in my gun tutorial, and that would probably be the easiest way for you to sort that out. Alright, so execute as an E. Type equals, no, name equals web, ls run tp ls 3 true. Yeah, I use raycasting now. That was with the XP orbs. I use that now, but I didn't use that at the time of the tutorial. So, as e name equals web at s run. No, if entity at a or equals 1. Run tag at s add webbed. Scoreboard players add at E. Name equals web. Explode 1. Tag at E. Name equals web. Scores equal explode equals 10 dot dot. Add webbed. I realized that I didn't make it invisible, but that is on purpose. Executes at E. Name equals web. Tag equals webbed. Run. Fill. Web. Keep. Kill at E. Tag equals webbed. Should work. So I'm actually not, I talked about this a little bit earlier, maybe before you joined, but I'm actually not going to, hold on. Yeah, of course. I'm not going to irradiate nether mobs because my idea is that the nether is already irradiated, essentially. Oh, the whole thing's off, that's why. Okay. I should have at least killed it. Oh, whoopsies. That would be why. Alright, just gonna move this up here. And then do this. Vector E, name equals web, type equals armor, stands, invisibility, infinite, 0, true. And then we're also going to do some particles. So execute, at E, name equals web, run particle. Um, all right. Do you have a radiation system for players? You can always lower radiation if your radiation is too high. You can have debuff, something like that. Yes, I already do. So two types of armor essentially can negate radiation effects, and it's going to be leather and netherite. If you don't have either of those, the player is going to build up radiation over time, and I'll just take off some of the radiation gear that I have, and you'll actually get a radiation sickness. Player set LS rads to 100. So I think it's like 200. So once you hit 300, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so occasionally you're going to get poison. It's not going to be 100% of the time, but you're going to be slowly taking damage from poison over time if you're in a radiation zone, as well as every once in a while you're going to get a spout of nausea. I was going to give you like nausea all the time, see like that, but it ended up being like way too disorienting, so now it just occasionally gives you nausea. But if your radiation poisoning gets high enough, you are going to get radiation. But like I said, you can wear leather armor and netherite armor to help negate some of the effects of it. And it's also the same type of deal where it's like, uh, sort of look somewhere else. That's all. I actually want it to be normal poison, not fatal poison. I did it on purpose. I just want to see what this looks like when he actually summons it. Hold on. There we go. I definitely needed to shoot out further than that, so I need to make it much more generous on the timer. And not nearly as high up. I want it to be a little bit, but not that high. Alright. Cool, cool, cool. Give me one quick second to catch up with chat, guys. But yeah, so basically now spiders are going to slowly be infesting your world with spider webs. And I believe too, I'm just going to wait for him to shoot out a projectile. It should instantly turn into a web if it comes in range of me. Now it's only going to come into a web if it's not going to destroy anything, but that's fine. Alright. You can get a right away thing with splash potions, healing or something like that. If you don't have the armor, I'm probably gonna do something like that, where maybe holding a golden apple does something, but I haven't decided that yet. What if you made the webs explode when they hit you or an entity? They already do, so not explode, but you know, they do turn into an actual web. Come on, shoot me. Oh, wait, he's not radiated yet. That's right. So, if I actually land in them, then yes, it is going to attack me. You're not really going to see it unless I'm in survival mode and he's aggressive. Then he's actually going to be tailing me. And I'm also going to probably give him some resistance too. So as you can see, he can actually trap me in a web. So I'm going to give him some resistance on top of that, but that's going to be the pretty base of it. Pretty much the base of it. Just some brief effects. Alright. Let's give me one quick second and I will catch up with chat here. Okay. I feel like a bug here. You're so advanced trying to make a, and I'm trying to make a mage survival based on the anime. Whatever, something like that. Do you know Levin Sagan's Valley? Nope. What if you made the web explode? Already did. It's pretty neat. Villagers turn into witches. Villagers. Yes. The weaving effect. The weaving effect only creates. What if I do this instead of that? Because the weaving effect only matters if you die, so it doesn't really do anything. But when the spider dies, it should give some webs. Now, the cave spider is literally going to function the same as the regular spider, just because. I actually have no idea if that worked. I was not paying attention all that much. Did I type this right? I don't know if the multipliers work or not for this, for weaving. I don't want to give weaving to the target to like a player because it doesn't really matter if they die anyways, but I'm okay if I give weaving to the spider so that when the spider dies, he also leaves some webs. Well, actually, hold on. Can I give? Hold on. Summon, armor stand, effect, edit, so armor stand, weaving, infinite 2. Does that actually work? I don't think that worked. No. Well, I could swap the armor stand to be something else. If I just did, let's say a bat, maybe. No, let's try bat. Just gonna move this up here. Because then I should just be able to kill it. And then not even have this be running, right? Leafing also makes you walk through webs faster. I actually didn't realize that. So I gotta give it invisibility, but I don't think it had the effect. No, it did not. I kind of forgot that weaving was a thing, so whoever reminded me of that, thank you, because I legit forgot. Alright, let's see here. Go ahead and shoot one out. Hmm. Shouldn't it be making spider webs? Let me just see if 100 entity attack entity at P. Just gonna try that, see if that makes a difference. No, they're not. See, they're not. What's up, Feeth? Summon bat web. Well, first of all, I shouldn't be dying right away. Well, I should, but eh. Oh, see, it is making it. Is it just that it's too high in the ground, or it might just be that it's too high, that there's not any blocks around it. I think that's the problem. So what if I just give it some false gravity? Okay, that seems to work. Yeah, it just needs to be on the ground, so just give it some gravity and it's fine. Kobe, you should have power armor and make it have it taken control of an iron golem or something like that because Fallout is cool. Well, I am actually going to make the netherite armor kind of be like power armor. And I'll probably give some extra effects to it, but it's just going to be netherite armor, not like controlling an iron golem because that stuff actually tends to get like pretty laggy, I'm not going to lie. But I want to make a little adjustment here. Scores equal explode equals 20 dot dot. Oops. Uh, should just be able to do this. Oh yeah, I think we're fine. Yeah, I have a typo on purpose. Because I didn't want it to be running right now anyways. Alright, I think we're good. I think that's all functioning. Yep. I'm also going to change it to @r though, just for the actual summon. We'll make it a little bit more common. We're going to just do an @r, so it's only one per player essentially. Cool. All right. Did you see my mess with the old command block contraptions? YouTube isn't bugging out. I did. Sorry, I don't always respond in right away. I apologize. But yes, I did. Yeah, I've talked about this a bit before, but the one command block contraptions, those were like the reason that I got into commands. Also, I don't quite understand how this whole XP system works because it looks like um I don't know this new XP system in the chat bar, I mean, because it looks like everyone's stuck at 75. My guess is once you send a certain amount of chats, then it's just like you're done, like it doesn't let you level up anymore. That's my guess. Or maybe I think it's meant to encourage different types of interactions, so I wonder if you guys emote gives you more, or like if there's like you send one of the super thanks or something like that, it gives you more. I'm guessing that's how the XP system works. Let me add the cave spiders are gonna be exactly the same. Does emoting work? So okay, so donations up the XP. Does like hitting the little emote thing do anything? Like does that increase your guys' XP or not? I don't know. I've not used this before. No, it doesn't. Okay. Yeah, cave spider is literally going to be exactly the same functionality. I'm actually going to just keep the commands in the same area because it's just going to be the same thing. Because I don't think it makes that much sense for them to do something all that different. Plus, I have a lot of mobs that I am wanting to go through, and I think if I spend too much time on making the cave spider and the spider different when it doesn't actually matter all that much, would just be an inappropriate use of my time. Um, there we go. All right, give me 1 second here, and I'll catch up with you guys. How did you make the rides in red? Hellfog, yep. Why am I so distracted? I forgot to work on my ninja minigame. It'd be like that sometimes. Just make sure this works here. And then every once in a while, summons a spiderweb. Well, it's not going to do anything because it's not near anything, but... You're going to make the mutant father mob that drinks and drives? Well, that's just the normal mob. The normal father mob. I don't need to make a mutant version. It does the exact same thing, you know? It'd be a bit odd. See, it looks like it has to be on the ground. Alright, it is working though. Going back to log.zip's older videos, yeah, I used to watch him all the time. Like I said, that's how I got into commands getting started. But yeah, alright, I think we got the spider situated. Like, I think the spider and the cave spider is good. Shoots out webs, and it's a little bit stronger than the normal mob, but not all that much. It also has a base level of weaving, meaning that um, whenever you kill the spider, it also drops webs. So that's what I mean. The whole goal is a lot of these mobs, I want them to actually transform the world around you so that, like, the longer you play in a world with nukes in it, the more it feels like a nuclear wasteland and less like a normal Minecraft world. And I think that's been so far pretty good. So that's where I'm at right now. Obviously, this area has been nuked a lot of times. One of the other things I'm going to do is that nuclear zones obviously are going to have a big radiation area around them. Um, that's that's just going to be objectively the case. They're going to have a big radiation zone around them. On top of that, I want to make it so that, like, once 10 nukes go off in a world, the entire world has a slightly less radiation zone. So instead of a red fog, there's like a gray fog around the entire world, unless you're like in a nuke zone. And the entire world has a base level of radiation where mobs slowly irradiate, the player slowly irradiates, and then there'll be like the actual nuclear sites, like the blast zones. Those are going to be, you know, like the heavy, heavy radiation zone where nearly every mob becomes a mutant right away. Do you think you could use the commands that you used to make the Witherstorm to make custom armor of sorts? You mean like visually following the player? The problem is FMVEs are an entity, and usually when you're teleporting an entity around after a player, it lags behind. So it's just going to look super laggy. Like, it's not going to actually follow the player or visually look quite right. So theoretically, but it wouldn't look good, if that answers your question. What's up, Brent? Yeah, Elia. So that was the other thing that I wanted to do is I wanted, and that's a good idea. Thank you for reminding me because I totally forgot. Because I said one of the things I want to do is have different types of corruptions spreading out from different types of mobs. So one of the corruptions that I can do is the Sculk Catalyst. And this one's actually pretty simple because what I would do is anytime the Sculk Catalyst joins, I gotta kill you. Excuse me. So whenever time the Skull Catalyst spawns, we would simply spawn it and then summon some kind of mob right on top of it. Let's just say the Creeper, for example, and then instantly kill it. And that's going to make the Catalyst corruption spread pretty naturally. We just need to choose what mob do we want to spread this corruption. And I don't want it to be the Warden, because the Warden only ever spawns underground in very specific circumstances. So to have it be the Warden would mean it almost never comes up in the actual game that you're playing. So I don't think the Warden is the right choice. I would ideally like it to be some mob that already spawns in the world. So, what's like monster naturally spawns somewhat common? See, the Endermite doesn't spawn naturally, though. The Endermite only summons when you teleport. Can you make custom armor and have custom movement systems that make it look better, like you have hundreds of command blocks, and have the camera follow the custom model? It just wouldn't look good on. I mean, it'd be intense and laggy, and it just, I don't think, I think it would just not look good at the end of the day. Are you interested in making any of the other Newgard's heroes abilities, like the chain hook? Potentially. There's some cool abilities on it. It'd be fun to recreate, but I don't have any specific that I want to. Drowns are common. Plus they have the glow that lightly resembles Sculk. Now drowns aren't a bad idea. The thing is drowns don't spawn on the air. They only spawn on the water. So I wouldn't actually be terraforming the surface. Additionally, the mechanics that I'm... Oh, wow, this looks very different underwater. So it wouldn't look great. Vex don't really spawn all that. Don't really spawn either. What if it's just rabbits? What if I just choose a... No, what if I just choose the rabbit instead? That'd be kind of funny. Rabbits are just spreading out their skulk. Alright, how about this? Let's skip that for 1 second because I want to test something. Now that I'm thinking of it, I want to test something. I'm just gonna do that. We're just going to do this. I want to see if this animation works on fish. You'll see why. Because I potentially have a really funny idea for radioactive fish. Basically, I would just make them bigger and constantly teleport towards the player if he's nearby. Oops. But we need to make sure that fish can actually look bigger with this animation. So let's do that first. Witches aren't a bad idea. They don't spawn all that common, but what we could do is have villagers sometimes turn into witches, and then they do it. So that wouldn't be a bad one. Yeah, it's a decent amount of commands, but it's not the most. Anyways, let's see if we can do this first. And then I will potentially do like a Sculk corruption with witches. I think that's probably the best option. Alright. I just want to see if cod can be transformed into bigger cod, essentially. Excuse me. Radioactive cod. Gonna make it much bigger so that way it's quite visible if it's occurring or not. If not, there's other Oh! Ha! 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 Alright. Hold on, we can work with that. We can work with that. Is the end radioactive? No, it's only gonna be for the overworld. Have you ever thought of making maps with commands based on games like FNAF 1? I mean, there's lots of projects that I've considered that aren't always necessarily the best at. Oh my. So we made it bigger. We certainly did that. Little bigger than I want. A little bigger than I want. Alright, what we're also gonna have to do is okay, that's fine. That looks good to me. That looks like a radioactive cod if you're asking me. That's good enough. That's gonna be all I need it to be. So the fish is gonna be pretty simple. I'm gonna make all 4 fish type, or at least I guess all 3 fish type. So salmon and tropical fish. Right, salmon, tropical fish. It's one word. That's super weird. Why is it spamming like that? That's spamming salmon, am I right? So all the fish are just gonna kind of look like that. And they're also going to attack the player. Because why not? Salmon. And so this is going to be pretty simple. Basically, fish are going to constantly be teleporting towards the player. Yeah, fish are going to be constantly teleported towards the player, and then they're going to be killed. And then they're just going to do a little bit of damage. They're not going to be all that strong, but it's just going to be like, hey, it's a little bit more dangerous to even be swimming. And we'll just make sure that all of these work. And then I'll catch up with chat. Alright. Let's see. Make the potions of harming, spread it, and have FMB or Sculk block with Vex, AR just Vex is in the Sculk block, and Spear. I already have a system for how it's going to spawn in. You can see how I've already done the corruptions before, and I already have an idea how it's going to work. So, alright. Tropical fish, let's see what you look like. Mutated. April idea. Ride a giant flying fish command block tutorial. I mean, you could do that. IDK, what to build in my command world right now. Got ideas. They can be simple or difficult. Make a throwing sword. I don't know why you are flipping your tail so fast. Are you radioactive yet? Alright, well that's clearly bigger. This is clearly bigger. The salmon does not seem to be bigger. Oh, well, wait. I know why. We're gonna do this. Salmon. Tropics. Alright, let's see what this looks like for a second. Small suggestion, you can also make copper stuff, rust slash oxidize. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Oops. And let's make sure the salmon, oops. Make sure the salmon looks normal. Yeah. Mutant salmon looks so weird. So yeah, basically all the fish are just going to teleport through the water towards the player and damage them. Pretty simple. Fish, so tag. Add E, tag equals rad fish. Rad type equals cod. Add rad fish. Do you know about Java's attribute commands, and if it was added to Bedrock in some way, what would you possibly use it for? That's like the item attributes, right? I don't know specifically. There's definitely some stuff that I would do. There's definitely some cool stuff you can do with that. I just don't know off the top of my head what I would do with that. Typicals, tropical fish. I really want to make the warrior custom boss, but I don't really want to upload it. Or you want to post it? I really don't want to upload it. I mean, you can always upload it on the Discord. That's an option. Alright. Execute as an E. Sorry, add A, add S. As an E tagles rad fish. Add S. If block water run TP at S. Facing at P. True. Alright, now I'm just going to take this bucket of cod over to this ocean here, and it's literally impossible to see underwater. This should target me once it becomes irradiated, but he's not irradiated right now, and he should be. Alright, cool. Radioactive fish. He wants me so bad. Make 3D Perla noise. Yeah, Final Fantasy's working on that right now. Alright. Rad fish damage. Excuse as an E take equals rad fish at S run damage at A equals 1. Entity attack entity at S. I'm just gonna put this on like a 50 tick delay. You see you made a mutant fish, cool as another shark? I mean, kinda, yeah, I guess. I have no idea even what to do for the turtle. I don't know why I said turtle so weird too. Uh-oh. Salmon. I hope they don't become radioactive and aggressive towards me. So, I mean, they're not all that dangerous. They don't do a ton of damage, but we'll make them attack a little bit quicker. You just got ad in your face? Oh, like an ad. Okay, I got you. But they're not going to be all that dangerous, but it's just going to be like another kind of little thing added to the world. Because the goal is to make the world feel different. My goal is like if you were to put all of this in a structure block, put this into your world, and then, you know, you irradiate your world just because you feel like it. I want that to, you know, I want it to feel different. I want you to feel different as you're kind of going around. Let's see. The last thing I think I'm going to add for this live stream is I'm probably going to do the Sculk Catalyst Corruption. What I mainly want to use the attribute command for is if it's added to Bedrock, change the player's size and maybe lower max health. Yeah, that's fair. He's graying this world out. Alright, let's get rid of this. We're going to make the witch, which is going to be Sculk Corruption. So, this one's actually pretty simple. What if water in radiation zone inflicts poison damage? Water in radiation zone is going to greatly increase radiation. So you're going to get radiation way quicker if you're in water in a radiation zone. So that's what water's going to do. I just haven't had it yet. Yeah, that's the plan. Okay, so for the witch, not too difficult. We're gonna do the same thing I did for the mushroom. That's particles. Terraform. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Maybe lava could burn off radiation. I don't know. I'm not quite sure that's how lava works, to be honest. Whoa, okay. Alright, I did that. We're just gonna make it just a chicken. No. Yeah, do a bat. That'll work. You guys with lower health, but maybe an in between a big dude who is slow and has a lot of health. And what? You even combine it with the combat system? I'm not quite sure what you're saying. They're one big gamer. I'll change the particle later. I'm not concerned about that. Sculk. Catalyst. I'll just make sure I have the syntax right for that. Yeah, Skull Catalyst. Okay. If you have mutant skeletons, you've made a 50% chance to become mutated or wither skeleton for a little variety. I might actually go back and do that at some point. Is there any way to make commands something happen at a random time? Yeah, using scoreboards. Is there any way to make a stick that copies the MBT data of one thing and not with commands? No. Um, but yeah, it is a shame that there's not more variety for the XP thing. Wait. RLM Wooly has more XP than everyone else. It looks like. I don't know. I wish there was a little bit more variety to the XP thing. I think they need to give you a little bit more per hour or something, or maybe it resets more commonly than just 1 hour. I assume it's meant to primarily encourage donations and stuff. No, actually don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. We'll keep that. I also want to do stone. Cobblestone. Gravel. And let's say that's fine for now. First time here. Oh, nice. Welcome. Favorite command blocker. Glad to hear it. What am I gonna make next after this? I'm not quite sure. I have a couple projects in the works that I'm interested in doing, but not yet for certain. Um, switch rad, run, summon, bat, witch, XP. And then stop sound. Let me get the sound file up real quick. Let's see if this works. Alright. I also realized that the witch cannot currently become irradiated right now. Which I spelled it wrong, but it doesn't matter. Witch doesn't have any animations either, but I don't think the witch necessarily needs to. You guys still here? Did OBS disconnect? Oh, right. It's not spreading the actual corruption out the way it ought to be. Yeah, what Fantasy said. Subscribe. Um, it should be. Why is it not spreading out? Did a cow would it work? Alright, we'll just do a cow instead. I'll just have to get rid of the item, but that's fine. I thought they did. Maybe they don't anymore, but I swore they did drop XP at some point. I'll have to kill the raw beef, but it's no biggie. No, see, it didn't work that time either. Let's just try this real quick, see if this fixes it. I don't think it will, but there we go. They just need a little bit of a delay. Cow.death. There we go. I'm also gonna actually I'm gonna do creeper. Oh man. The reason being is I think the creepers have a little bit more XP to them. And then I'll just have to get rid of the gunpowder, but that's no biggie. I don't even know where the... I just give it some other effects, but that's fine. Alright, but I think that looks pretty good. The witch can actually do stuff pretty quickly. That's fine. This one is 0 tick delay though, and effect, ability, minute. Ooh, that wasn't even close spelled, right? 0, true. Alright, let's try this again. Let's go a little bit further out. I'll fix the items later. I just want to make sure. Yeah, see, that time it didn't work. So does it drop into every time? Yeah. Hmm. Curious why it didn't work that time. We can try wolves. Ha 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 ha. Also, the hoglins are fun because they become or the zoglins, I mean, become aggressive towards everything, which is kind of cool. Hello, cows. Nothing. Alright, so it's not that they don't work. Alright, I'll try that. I guess it's working now. Let's try once more over here. Uh, you deleted the command I sent? I didn't delete anything. What? Was it, can it not be right on top? Is that the problem? Alright, see you, thanks for coming. Let's try this. That big. Why is that big? I'll fix it later. Let's just see if I can get this working at all. What's a sign that you shouldn't share that command? Alright, so that works. Alright, whoops. Alright, so summon, spread, kill, 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 stop. Okay. Let's see how this looks. Just gonna go to a new area just so I can see how this radiation spreads. So, as you can see, the witch is now going to basically spread the Sculk corruption all around it. And so we probably add some other effects to the witch later on, although I kind of maybe like the idea that the witch kind of is immune to radiation. She has potions that give her radiation immunity, but she also is using some of the radiation to spread this corruption. And it's kind of like blighting the whole world around her. And so that's, yeah, so I think that's pretty good. This is kind of yet another instance now of kind of how this world's going to naturally change. So we have some mushrooms over here that are naturally just spawning in and they're just terraforming the world with mushrooms. So there's like a whole bunch of ways in which this world is now going to uh, terraform over time. So you're gonna have like gray stuff like over here. Um, I mean, this is like a good example of like a good mix where you have the creepers and the paleness of the skeleton and the mushroom all kind of in the same area. And so we have all these different kinds of corruption that are basically going to create new mini biomes across the world as these radiated mobs are spreading about. So yeah, you have all these different stuff. Make this Idea: radiation makes silverfish asexual in the sense that they reproduce. But yeah, I think it's really cool because, like I said, one of the cool parts about this radiation pack is there's literally just a whole bunch of different corruptions that are gonna infest your world. So like as you're playing, the longer you play, you're more and more gonna have a world like this where it's filled with Sculk and Moss and Mycelium and Pale, like all over the place. And especially if you're so it's gonna be, really heavy like this in a radiation zone. Like this is what a radiation zone is going to look like. There's gonna be spiderwebs, there's gonna be moss and mushrooms and all this stuff mixed together if you're just naturally wandering through a mycelium area or like through a radiation area. But also the rest of the world, once you have the kind of radioactive winter is what I'm calling it, when 10 nukes go off in your world and there's a base level of radiation all over the world, then it's gonna start to slowly, over time, look more and more like this, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah. But I think that's about where I'm gonna wrap up today's stream. It's about an hour and a half, which is what I like to normally stream for. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you guys are looking forward to this video. I still have like a whole lot to do when it comes to this part of the project because honestly the radiation, like the radioactive mobs, is like more than anything else. Like it's much more than the nuke. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. But I have a lot done in terms of what I definitely need to do. Definitely gonna do something for the chickens, for the bees. The sheep won't be too hard. I want to really focus on the mobs that are really common. I still need to do something with zombies, silverfish. I want to do something with the slime, but I'm not sure what to do with the slime yet. Um, let's see. Villagers, absolutely need to do something with them. And I do want to get through like most of the kind of normal overworld mobs, but I want to really focus on the stuff that's much more common. Um, so zombies, I absolutely need to do something with them. Although the zombies, they're probably gonna actually be like the same as the husk. So, yeah, I'm getting there, but it's gonna take a long, long amount of process because I basically have to come up with, cool ideas for every single mob. I think as far as like corruption or like world-changing corruption, I think this is as much as I'm going to do because we already have like one, two. So we have like the Skulk, we have the Pale from the skeleton, we have the Mycelium from the cow, and we have like the moss and some of the other stuff coming from the creeper. I might do one more type of corruption, and what I would want to do for that is a nether type corruption. So maybe that's something like the Zoglin, although I don't think that quite makes sense for the Zoglin. I might choose a more, maybe the chicken can become, maybe the chicken can become a strider, because I've done that in the past. The chicken becomes like a strider, and then the strider, as they're wandering around, slowly like netherifies things, so turns things to netherrack, magma, that type of stuff. So that way we have like just one more corruption, but that's gonna leave the world like really drastically changed, which is what I really want it to be like. So I think overall this is gonna end up being a pretty fun thing to do. This should be a pretty fun thing to actually go in and play is also the hope. Like this is something where you can, start a normal survival world with your friends, then you make a nuke, and then you just hold on. Give me adult Strider. They drop string. Okay, close enough. Um, yeah, but like I think that's a pretty fun thing to do. You can actually have a pretty dramatic change in your world. Uh, like they said, you can start a normal survival playthrough, and then maybe one of your friends launches a nuke, and now you have this one source of corruption. But he retaliates, so he launches a nuke. Yeah, there's gonna be a custom crafting recipe for the nuke, because the idea is you can basically play this like it's a modded survival. And so you keep going until you have this full-scale nuclear war where you're fighting with one another, and then now your world is just entirely a wasteland, and there's like mutants and all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. That's kind of where the goal of the project is to make it actually like a fun survival project to play on. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys like where I'm going with this so far. Skib, that's not an idea. It's not a bad idea to have like sniffers kind of deradiate an area. I'm not sure how I would implement that per se. Maybe it just unmutates mobs. I'm not sure. That's not a bad idea though. So you can actually kind of counter radiation by having a sniffer in the area. It's not a bad idea. Maybe I will keep that in mind, Skib. If I do another stream, remind me of that. Maybe I'll do that next time where you can actually get sniffers, and that actually gives sniffers kind of a use because now they can actually kind of undo some of the radiation zone stuff. All right, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and bye.